Yeah, hello guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time you are watching. This is Enoch. Of course, some of you know me as Aka, while some of you know me as Strong Nation. So, in this video today, I'll be going on the practical of UI UX design. Uh, this is the software that we called Adobe XD. If you want to use Figma, we can, for example, now if you know about Adobe XD, it will be easy for you also to dive into Figma. So of course Figma is a little bit complex more than Adobe XD, but for beginners I refer it to you guys. So the first thing you have to do is to download the Adobe XD from the link I sent to the group the other time, and then once you download it, for some persons, if you did not have WinRAR on your PC, you might not be able to install it. So you need to get WinRAR software on your PC. Once you get WinRAR software on your PC, then you use, this is the software, and I downloaded it. Then use the WinRAR software to extract it into something like this. So when you download it, when you extract it into a normal folder like this, that is when you open it, and then you have your software there. Then you click on this setup twice. Make sure you double click it twice. And also, before I forgot, make sure your system is not connected. You see, my computer is not connected to any internet access. So because I've installed it, that is why it's opening the Adobe Creative software, but I don't need to open it now. So if you are installing it for the first time, you need to do that, and then all these already quit installation. So I already did this once before. So after you've installed it, then you'll be able to open the app like I have here on my. So once you install it, you can click your window, or you can click your search bar here and type Adobe XD. So it will show it to you here. So when you are done, when you open it, at the first attempt you will see a page like this. This is the home screen, and then for you to start working, you have to know, are you working on mobile? Did you want to do a phone UI design, or a website UI design, or Instagram stories? And here we have custom, that is, maybe you want to do like banner, flyers, e-flyers, stuff like that. But today I'll be explaining first on the phone. So I click it, and then it open the environment for me to start working. Let me make this bigger. So now, today I will not be able to do much, but I will try as much as possible to make another video tomorrow and send. So now the first thing I will explain today is the environment of Adobe XD. Now on Adobe XD, at the left hand side here we have toolbars. All these toolbars are the tools that we use to do everything we want to do here. So for example, now when you are on your PC, you put your two fingers on the touchpad to move left and right, or up and down. But if you want to zoom, you can put your two fingers on it and zoom in and out. You understand? So if you want to select, you use your left click to select. For example, now this one, I selected it, I'm moving it, click my left click. But if I did not click anything, I will not be able to move it. You understand? So now, after that, we have this icon, which is rectangle. Now inside this rectangle, you will see at the front of rectangle, you will see R inside the bracket. That is the shortcut to use to get to rectangle. For example, now if I didn't want to click it here, I can click it here to select rectangle. You see it has changed that I'm selecting rectangle, so I can drag it and make a rectangle. But now let's say I want to draw this second one. I can come here and click it. If I didn't want to click it, of course I can use E as a shortcut. Let me come here now and I press E. You see it's now changing. So the same thing goes to this rectangle. With this rectangle, the shortcut is Y, and then we draw it. But here, with this rectangle and with this triangle rather, we can make several things, which are, we can use it to make stars, we can use it to make something like polygon, or maybe you want something like 4 angles. For example, you come to this side. This side is called the editor side, editor panel, or whatever you want. So here, this corner count, I can increase it. If you see this, the triangle that I drew earlier is changing size. You see, so the more you increase the size, that's the angle, the more shapes you can get with this. So now the next one is line. Line, to go to line is L, and then I draw a line. I might not be able to see it very well. Let me zoom a little bit. Okay, and then let's increase the size. Yeah, so that is line. And then pen. This pen can be used to, this how to use it. I click on, I left click, then I move my touchpad, I left click again, I move it again, I left click, I move it again, left click. See, so now you see this is what I do. But now you see this thing is still making several other lines, but this is how I want to do it. I want to click here, and then if I double click this, if I double click it, these angles I can change them to curve by double tapping on it. Of course I'm using left click, don't forget. So double tap, and then here tap. No, it's not needed. So now with this I can just do better and increase. You see, so that's what we use the pen icon for. And then text, of course this is text. You can use T as a shortcut, and then you type whatever. You see, so, and then here, this is okay. Let me come back a little bit now. You see, this screen that we have here is called artboard, and also we can call it the screen of the device that we want to work on. Now you see artboard here that is showing here, which we can use A as a shortcut. When you click it, then on this right side you see that it shows several skins of devices. So what you just have to do here is just to scroll down, scroll up to choose the device that you want to work on. For example, this is what we use for web. You see, here is it. If you want to design a website, this is the size you use. On Figma, this is not the same thing actually. So on Figma it is this is 1920 by 720 or thereabouts, but on Figma it is 1440 by 480. Yeah, so that's about that. I'll delete it. So now the next thing is of course you can see here you can choose several other screens that you want. So now the next one is search. Zoom. Of course, when you click on this zoom, you can use to zoom into your work. Just the same thing we can do with our 2 fingers on the touchpad. But the only issue with it is that you can only zoom in, you can zoom out with it. So if you want to zoom out, you have to use your mouse to zoom out again. So that's that about that. So now another shortcut here is this select. Select is the one we use to, let's say for example you make any shape, but you want to select that shape, you have to come back to select. So select will give you the access to be able to select that thing that you want to edit. Now let's say this particular one, we want to make it a box here inside this phone device, and then we come here, let's make it center, and then here these three dots, sorry, the dots are these angles. If you click on it and drag it a little bit, it will give you some curved shape. This is called radius. When you get into coding, writing codes, we call it radius. So let's just give some little radius. There's another way to control this. You can come here and come to this part, you see, so you can increase it or decrease it. So let's just give it about 20 radius. And then now if you want to change the color of this particular box, what we have to do is to come here under this fill, we select it, and then we put in a color that we desire. Let's say we put it into something like this. Yes. And border, this border is the color that is beside. For example, now let's take off this color. If you notice, there's a line of this box, that is what is called border. So if you now want to work on that border, you want to deactivate it, or you want to change the color, you can change the color here. Let's put it into red to make it visible, and then you can make it bigger by using this size, you see, but I don't need it here. So this fill inside, let's just change the color. Now if you notice, now there are some things like this. Maybe you might have been on some apps or some platform that has something like gradient color. In design, we have something we call solid color, and we have gradient color. This one top here is solid color. The one here, I'll change it to gradient. You see, linear gradient. By changing it to gradient means you divide the screen to have two color interjecting in each other like this. The two color are mixed together inside the same box. Let's put this part to be blue, something like this, and then let's put the top part to be something like pink. Yes. So now this is it. This one is gradient and this is solid. For example, let's say you want to make a, okay, let's try to do something here. Let's say for example that this is I just selected T now for text, and then let's put a name here. Let's put sorry, so yeah, let's put Michael Johnson. See, something's wrong here. Michael. I choose back to see, and then you see the color is totally bad. So let's change the color to, actually let's do it this way. And then let me this text, let's change the text color to white, and then the font name, let's change to purpose, and then the font size, you can leave it as 20, and then at the bottom here you can choose something like 1 2 3 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So now here you can increase this to maybe 25, and then okay, put it to the center. Okay. Yeah. Here. Okay. Now I am using a shortcut here, and the shortcut is I want this object here and the text in it to be at the same center, like middle. So I just put I select this text, and then I press my hold shift, and I click the box. Then I come here. You see, this is align center, but the shortcut is shift C. So that's what I've been using, in case you notice that it's changing. So let's increase the space in between a little bit more. Yes. Okay, so shift C. Yeah. And then okay, that's good. So now let's make this if you notice, you see that the color is not coming out very well anymore because the opacity has been reduced. So let's increase it, and then of course if you want to change the color, you are free to change the color. Let's try something goodish. No, something goodish color. Yes. And then let's try to make the font a little bit more bold. Yeah. So yeah, let's use it. What I did here is that I select the text and I pressed Ctrl D. Ctrl D is to duplicate. So let's make something here, and let's put maybe in this case we need to make this color a little bit not to be the same with the other. You see, so we can do something like this. In the case of this, we can use it something like this. So let's come here, change the color to white, and of course you can change it to like to be very sharp, or you can make it just as beautiful as you think it's gonna be. And then let's put shift C and shift M to be centered. So that is it. You see, we make a button and then we make a card. So now I've come up with a simple design. Then let's try to preview it. So this is it. This is what we designed. So you can put it at the side here, and then delete this, put this under it. Yeah. So that is it. Also, we can make something like duplicating. That's Ctrl D. And then the one that is here, we put it there, but a little more bigger. Now the one that is top, can make it to be here like this, and then yes. Yeah, so that is how to use Adobe XD. And of course, let's say for example you want to make something like an animation. Let me just quickly do that. I'll duplicate the screen. What we do here is we want that when we press this button here, it should take us here to this button. We'll change this color to, let's change something like this. Yes. And then when we click on this, it should be taken to this page. So this is what is going to happen. We'll group this, Ctrl G, and then this one, group it, Ctrl G. So here we go to prototype. This is prototype is much more like what the experience will be when users are using their app. If you remember in the theory explanation that I made, I said there is something called user experience and user interface. User interface is what we just did here, but user experience is what we do in the prototype. Now let's go to prototype. You see, immediately I navigate to prototype, these things change from me being able to edit it to showing this blue icon. For example, now go back to design. You see, when I go to prototype, it shows me that. So I want that once I tap it, it goes to this page. But what should be the experience? I can put it in transition. I can put it in auto animate. But let's put it to auto animate. And then it should, yes, it's out. And here, once we tap it, it should go to this page also. It should be also auto animate. You see? So okay, I think you understand now. So now let me go back to the design. Here let's add something like this. So let's put all of them to the center of the screen, and here let's do something like this. Something like this in the middle. So now, okay, so now let's come to the preview here. You see, when you click it, back, next, back, next, back, next, back. What I just did here is this on its own. This screen is called user interface. This is user interface. But when we finish user interface, everything is just static. That's what you should put out your mind on your mind. Everything is static on user interface. But when we come to user experience, that is what user will be experiencing when they click on each of our on each button on her app. You see now, this page is static. When we don't put prototype there, nothing is happening. But immediately we put it on prototype and edit it. Once we click back, it goes to this page. We click next, it comes here. Click back, it goes here. And click next, it goes here. So that's that about that. And for today, that's all I'm going to be explaining. And in another video that I'll be making to us very soon, I will explain much better, and also will design a maybe 4 screen of an application in that video. So about the tools, I believe you understand it, and if you have any question, please feel free to ask them, and see you later. Thank you.